long time ago, that's not feasible. Don't focus on that. But why not? Or somebody told you, there was somebody who was told a long time ago, and I'm not saying we should only focus in it to where it becomes dangerous, but there are people that were told, well, you can't raise a family off of playing video games. Well, there's people that fill up stadiums playing video games, and they actually still lead successful lives, and they're millionaires, and they take care of their children, and they've actually stopped playing the video games now, and they just let others play video games and pay them to play video games and what they started. So like there's something that Yah can give us in a little bit of everything. There's something that we can have access to, that Yah wants to bless us in. And a lot of times we don't, and I think that's one of the key points, that, really the key point for real is it Yah approved? And if it's Yah approved, then who cares what everybody else is talking about or is on? Like if the Most High said, this is what you will do, that means it's already guaranteed that that's the vision. So we shouldn't allow people who want to bring division to vision. If we know that this is what Yah said, then why not go for it?
Exactly. And I think this world kind of pushes us away from our original vision, our original purpose, and our original value. We're like ushered and shuttled into school for upwards of 8-12 hours a day, being around people who don't even believe what we believe or see what we see, or even maybe value us the way we should be valued. That's not everyone, that's not 100%, but in a lot of cases, children are being misled because they're being led away from themselves. Actually, I love bringing up what my mom says. She always taught us, stick to your to your vision. I was kind of raised a little bit different. I did go to traditional school, but she would tell me, stay true to you and remember what it is that you do, because by the time most people are teenagers, they're known fugitives from themselves. They're trying so hard to fit in to what society, what peers think of, what they're doing or saying or wearing, that they get so wrapped up in something that doesn't matter whatsoever.
Oh, shoot. I messed it up. Sorry. I'll be right back on. Okay, welcome back. If you guys have listened to the recording, you didn't miss anything, but I apologize. I just did something that I didn't mean to do. Trying to share the live session with everybody, so we apologize. But okay, looks like we got back on fast enough. Looks like we didn't. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming back on. I'm sorry, but you were saying your mom was saying I think it cut off when you said that we lose ourselves, and I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah. So when we go to school, we are around people that don't have the same beliefs, don't have the same, oftentimes don't have the same culture, and definitely don't have the same vision or understand what your vision, purpose, and value are. So they're, for better or worse, leading you away from your vision, purpose, and value, leading you away from yourself. Like my mom always said, by the time someone's a teenager, they're pretty much a known fugitive from themselves. They're trying so hard to get away from who they are, to conform to societal norms, to conform to peer pressure, worried very much about how they look, how they dress, what other people think about how they look, how they dress, instead of really living about any type of substance. And, people always talk about, wait until you get into the real world. Whereas in high school, people are in this kind of augmented reality that somehow being the prom queen is going to change their life in some way as they become an adult and have to actually fend for themselves and live a purpose-driven life. There's no purpose in being a prom queen. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you weren't prom queen, and it only matters to the person that was nominated, or maybe a small microcosm of their high school cares that she was prom queen. But in the grand scheme of things, in the real world, Nobody cares that you're a prom queen. What is it that your purpose for your life is? What was that the creator made you to do? And if doing those things are going to please Yahweh, we might want to figure out what those things are and start doing them. Instead, a lot of us, myself included, get wrapped up in task-oriented goals. We're told that if you do this, 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 and this, then you'll get, your white picket fence, your house in the suburbs, your 2.5 children, and then you'll be happy. You'll get a good job. You'll get a good education. You get a good job, and you'll live happily ever after. And the farce or the joke has been on everybody who kind of follow that, because the majority of people that are wildly successful, that are highly successful, didn't have anything to do with any of that. In fact, most of them went completely 180 degrees away from that, and found that they had a vision that was bigger than, I'm going to sit in class for 8 hours, or I'm going to go to this Ivy League university to prove my worth. No, they decided that I have something in me that I need to get to the world, and they started doing that, and then they became very successful, very prosperous, many very, very wealthy, because they did not conform.
Yeah, and really that's that's even scripture, that when we're living sacrifice, the next verse, which would be Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it would say after verse 1, that we must be living sacrifice, which is a reasonable service. Well, verse 2 says, be not conformed to this world, which is the cosmos, the system of things, but be ye transformed. So when we go to stuff like with vision, purpose, value, we're trying to be transformative and make our lives transformative. So, there are certain things that we have to look at, like for example, it says here in the book at page 19 and 21 Days of Motivation, it says many of us even say things along the lines of, I am going to live like there is no tomorrow. The problem with this philosophy is that it sounds good, or it sounds righteous, it sounds to buy, while making very little sense. If you do not know where you are going, it is a pretty safe bet that you are not living in a fashion taking you towards your destiny. Think about heading to a destination without knowing the address to put inside of the GPS. Without the destination, even the best of map apps would be rendered useless. Exactly. And would therefore just be something that looks righteous but serves no purpose. We have to begin to develop vision, and so a lot of people are kind of on that same place. But whose vision is it? Is it a transformative vision? If it's worldly, it's not going to transform much of anything. If it's of Elohim, it's going to it's definitely going to be able to transform. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Transform, but also keep you motivated to continue doing it. Because if you don't understand, if it's not of Yahweh, then it's not going to feel fulfilling in the end once you've achieved it. And it's not, if it's not of Yahweh, and your true purpose for your life, you may or may not feel motivated to continue going towards that purpose, and that vision. You talk about Habakkuk. Was it 22:2?
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2. Yeah.
Writing the vision and making it plain. And a lot of times I think we write the plan and make it plain. We got all these big ideas about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it and how fast we can do it, without once thinking about, why are we doing this? Where are we going? What is the purpose of this exercise? What is the point? As you always say, what is the purpose of this exercise? Is it going to be something that's fortuitous at the end, or is it going to be a waste of time? Because if it's not fulfilling, if it's not, answering your true why statement, like, why am I doing this? Why do I want to do it? Why did I even want to start thinking of doing this in the first place? Was this of myself? Was this of Yahweh? Was this of the world? Who inspired me to do this? Was it, somebody who just decided they weren't going to live out their purpose, so they tried to live their purpose through me? Whose idea was this?
Amen. Yeah. And once again, that's why it goes back to, is it Yahweh's will, right? Is it Yahshua will? Is it Ruach HaKodesh will? Is it the will of the one who sent us? For we're all sent. And that's one of the things that we should look at. If I'm sent, like I know my purpose. If I work for a fast food restaurant and I go outside, I know what I'm supposed to say to the customer because I know my purpose because of who sent me, and who sent me is who trained me. And this is ultimately a part of it too, is whoever's sending us should be training us. So if we're talking about Yah's purpose, then he should be the one ultimately training us. This has actually been a very dangerous thing that's happened in our societies, where especially in churches, we will send ministerial staff to colleges to get trained, and then say that we won't train them until we we won't say that they are worthy of being in college or whatever, or they're not worthy of being ministers, they're not worthy of being whatever, unless they've been trained from an outside source. So what happens is more people who go to school and get trained, more of them actually lose their faith or change their belief system because you send them somewhere else. So it wasn't vision oriented. We didn't have the same vision, which means that we're not mission oriented. The mission is not the same. It means that the purpose is not the same. What we do every day is not the same, right? Our purpose is not the same every day. And so now our values are different. So if you train up a child in the way that they should grow, so when they grow old, they will not depart. Here's another part of vision, purpose, value too. I have to ask this question for those that are listening today, and it can be rhetorical, but I have to ask this question. What is the environment that you're setting to keep the value?
Exactly. Actually, that I think that goes hand in hand with expecting the blessing. Because when you're expecting something, you do set up your environment to welcome it. When I think about, that book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, you are preparing to bring a new life into this world. And you know that you're preparing to bring a new life into this world. And that becomes a part of your purpose in living as being a parent. And you take that very seriously. That, okay, I've made some decisions and I really want to bring this life in the world because I know this life could, be the person that changes history forever. In fact, all of us change history forever. Whether we live to our purpose or not, we're going to change. Our existence has now changed the course of history. But was it for a tabah or good reason, or was it constitutional, or was it something that was negative, that or almost of no 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 value in what we've done because we didn't live up to our true potential? Yes, we changed the course of history, but was it in the direction that we needed to have changed it? Was what was inside of us poured out, like your next chapter talks about being? Did you actually pour out that value, that treasure that was inside of you, or did you take it with you to the grave?
Yeah, because that environment is that's because the environment, when I was saying what have you done to keep the environment, or to have the environment keep your values, the word keep, remember, it also means to guard. So to guard those things, to keep those things, to make sure that there's certain things that are happening. Like, what have we done to guard our value system? What have we done to guard what we value, who we say we value, whose we are, what we intend? If we don't have something to guard it, you can tell your child 7,000 times, keep their chastity, but if they're in an environment to where nobody values that enough, and that environment, and nowadays the way it's set up, that they're going to be in that environment more so than they're with you. So if you go to school, like I learned, the first stuff I learned about things as far as physical involvement with a person that wasn't my spouse, I learned that in school. I learned that being around children. I learned it around a girl who obviously, when I look back, was abused and was trying to do weird things with me when I was in preschool. So I was introduced to a girl that was in high school when I was in first grade, who was trying to do things that were discussing with me back then, and had I not had guys who were bullies towards her, but at the end of the day, I'm glad they were, because there's this person who was trying to take something from me, in a really perverted way. But we spend more times, the way the world sets it up, we're not in environments that keep vision, purpose, or value that we share. And they're actually in enmity with it. They're against it.
Exactly.
So what are we going to do in our personal walk, and even in building a nation? We have to start asking ourselves, when we're planning things out and organizing and structuring, everything has to go to the purpose of that vision statement. Like, whatever you're expecting this year, and expect the blessing, whether you're thinking of your year in 90 days now, you're thinking about 2024, you're thinking about when we get to April 9th, and going from there, and going through the holy day season and stuff like that. Whatever you're doing, it has to be on brand all the time. Like, everything that I do has got to be on brand. Like, and if it's not, like, and by the way, those who love you, everything that they do around you and with you, if they protect your brand, they should be on brand. Like, when my wife comes on, she never told me to start saying Blumenfleur stuff all the time, but she mentioned to me, that was probably what she was going to call something I had been kind of saying to her for a long time. I think it's like something you should do. And she was like saying, yeah, when I'm ready. But even for about a year before she did it, I was already doing. Why? Because, like, if that's what your brand is, I'm going to protect it. And this is what I see in you. This is how I see you live your life. This is what you want people to know. What is it that you want them to know, what not to know? Oh, by the way, she sent me a list. I didn't make sure I got to get back in the habit of saying the tincture of the month. I'll say it at the end as well, but the tincture of the month, if you're interested. And for this month, the tincture of the month is elderberry tincture. But just little things like that. I think, even, I'm not trying to take credit for it, but I think, even if I'm not mistaken, I think I might have came to her, and said, like, maybe you want a tincture of the month, and that way every month we can have something to show people that you're doing different things. And even if people don't have a website to go to, or they're not going to the website, or there's confusion, they can always know, oh, okay, wow, she does elderberry, and she does stuff that's for anxiety, and she does stuff that helps with your body to heal from depression, and helps your body to heal as far as if you have bone issues and things of that nature, right? Like, people who love you and support you and keep, when you write down the vision and make it plain upon the tablets, that's Habakkuk chapter 2, it says that people will read your vision, and if they love it, and if they love you, and if they support you, they'll run with it. Because they'll guard your heart, your ambition, and things of that nature. So even in our relationships, if people aren't willing to stay on brand, it really means they're not willing to respect your brand. And if they don't respect your brand, they don't respect you, because your brand, your business, whatever, it should be you.
Exactly. That's a great point. And it's not a very, and maybe that person is not meaning it in a malicious way, and maybe they don't really see it, but it's not a very loving act to not believe in the vision that you set forth for yourself. And sometimes the vision you set forth for yourself isn't necessarily your vision, and it's very apparent to people what you value and what your vision is versus what you're saying your vision is as well. I think we need to keep that in mind, because what people say and what they do can be two different things. And what you do is very apparent. And, you know, we're all very intelligent. We all have this intrinsic notion of what somebody values based on, what is it that their actions are saying to me. And I know a lot of people say to children, do as I say, not what I do. But children are like sponges, and they do what you do. They don't do what you say. So what you do is going to make it very plain. It's kind of, you haven't written it down per se, but you're definitely illustrating what it is that you believe the vision for your life is, and what you value and what you don't value by your actions.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so it's very important. And then, so at the end, I see you have it opened up, because we're getting ready to where we have to get ready for our Shabbat school for the children, and we got to transition and set up the stuff for the watch party for them to transition to what they need to. They got to make multiple transitions today, but there is no SOC meeting this week. I would like to have an SOC meeting next Saturday, because we haven't had one for the new year, and we'll kind of go through some things or whatever to give everybody a chance. And also, we haven't We haven't come up with a date yet, but I'm asking everybody to start preparing yourself for intermittent fasting. We haven't done any intermittent fasting so far, but we will probably keep up with the same model of last year, like try to get somewhere around once a month for those who want to join. But but at the top of the hour, we're going to get ready to go into our Shabbat school. So those who can join us, please join us in the normal fashion on Zoom, and we'll give further instruction once you get to Zoom on what we're going to do for the watch party. It'll be pretty much the same as what we did last week, just this time without the confusion. I think that was my fault for not thinking ahead. But so yes, so we do have some questions. Every chapter or every day of the book does, in fact, end with questions for you. So these are just things you don't have to worry about putting it in the chat, or if you want to. Matter of fact, maybe what we can do is, for those who are part of the Facebook group, maybe we can put the questions there, or maybe we can even put the questions on maybe I'll try to put the questions on WhatsApp later for you all. But basically we're just going to put these questions out real quick, I guess. So the first question that we want you to think about, and if you want to have conversation about it, we'll put it on Patreon as well. So if you guys want to, answer the question there and have some conversation there in the chat. But so first question is, what is the definition of vision? Which I don't even know if we went over today. Let me just go ahead and find that real quick. What is our working definition for vision? When we say vision, we mean something a little different than what everybody else does. Oh,
yeah. So, what I understood from your book was that vision is what you see that you're going towards. What is it that's been ordained for your life? Whereas the purpose is different from what everybody thinks. Purpose is what you do every day to get to the vision, right?
Right. Yeah, because vision, people mistake vision and purpose for the same thing. So if you ask somebody often, what is your vision? They usually tell you their purpose. They'll start saying, well, this is what I do every day. And it's like, well, that's not actually vision. That what you do every day should be leading towards vision. So vision, the working definition we use is that vision is when you can see without sight. Purpose is how you live every day. That makes a huge difference in vision versus purpose. Okay. So vision is what you can see without sight, or what you see afar off. The next question that is on here, it says, what is the definition of purpose? I think we just gave that to you as well. What is the definition of purpose? Working definition of purpose is how you live every day. Right? Very simple, right? Simplified. But once you get it and you start putting it in place every day, it becomes very powerful. Right? So vision is what you can, vision is when you can see without sight. Purpose is how you live every day. All right. And then when we get to the term value, right? The term value is defined as the worth of something. Right. Pretty simple, right? So vision is when you see without sight. Purpose is how you live every day. Value is the worth of something, right? So if I value my walk, there's some things that are not worth, right? Like if I value my walk and I know I need to be able to go ahead and reach certain goals, then I value my walk too much to become a drunk. Or I value my walk, not trying to make fun of anybody, everybody has a different stuff, but I might value my walk too much to continue to be a drunk. Because I know I can't reach certain goals. I value my being a husband too much to continue to be a drunk. I value my being a wife too much to continue to be a drunk. I value preaching too much, right? I can't be up there and stumbling and slurring over words to the point to where people are like, I can't listen to you. You're a drunk. You're against the word, right? So there's things that I will change in my, right? Because I have a vision. And so my everyday purpose is valued to the point to where if I'm missing certain goals, and I'm missing them because of something as simple as, let me just remove this, or let me not even ever get into this. Like I value being somebody's wife and being pure. So why would I give my chastity up to just anybody? I value being somebody's husband and being pure. So why would I just go ahead and say, I need to be on this red pill thing and have as many partners and try the cow before I know the milk, when the reality is you don't get milk unless you have the cow, and you don't have cow unless you have the milk. Anyways, it's a package. They go together. So why would I try to obtain cows to try out the milk, but not take ownership over the cow. The person who milks the cow owns the cow.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to say you should own your wife, but hopefully you get the context right. Like, I paid a dowry for her. I've sacrificed. I'm willing to show her that I'm willing to be a living sacrifice. I'm a wife of the Most High. I have the vision that the Most High has given me, and I secure and protect her. I keep her because, because I keep my vision, and she's part of my vision. My vision has to be something that doesn't supplant her, but it has to be something that uplifts her. So by keeping my vision, I keep her, you see? So like, that's value, right? I have the worth on it. Then question number 4, do you still live today as if there is no tomorrow? Right? Do you still? Now that means that at some point we had to start, right? But do you still live today as if there is no tomorrow?
Yeah, exactly. Because like you said in your book, it sounds great on the surface, but if you don't believe there's any tomorrow, then why should you be walking towards your vision? If you didn't achieve your vision that day, then it's kind of like give up. If you're living today as if there's tomorrow, if there's no tomorrow, then what was the point of the exercise in the first place? What was the point of doing everything that you did to try to get to this vision, this blessing that you're expecting? If it didn't happen that day, then you might as well give up if you're living life as if there's no tomorrow. But you really have to live life as if your vision can be achieved at some point. You have to have that hope, that faith going forward, because living life as if there's no tomorrow is kind of like having no faith that what was promised, what the vision that was promised to you will actually come to fruition. If it didn't come to fruition in a day, then don't worry about it, kind of thing. That living life like no tomorrow doesn't have any future.
Amen. And also it shows that we can't give up. Do you still live today? So every day, right? Remember, it's not my will, but thy will. Also stuff like that. I will bless the Lord. That means I will as a result of my will. It doesn't say it mean I feel like. It means I will. So if it's something that I will, then I will. I will bless them. And then the last question, do you still allow your enemy to see more value in you than you see in yourself? Now that's part that I didn't even mention in the in the day or in the chapter that's written, but that's a lot in there, right? Do you still allow your enemy to see more value in you than you see in yourself?
Yeah, I mean, and that is like such a powerful statement in your book, where you're talking about how you may not value the vision and purpose and value in your life, but the enemy is trying to prevent you from doing that. You got your haters and your critics trying to prevent you from achieving the vision, purpose, and value that's on your life. But you don't even wake up every day to try to achieve that vision, purpose, and value. But there's somebody out there who's actively working to prevent you from obtaining that vision, purpose, and value. They see it on your life. They see what you're capable of, but you don't even see what you're capable of, or that you have value, or that your vision is something that's worth something. Or else you would actively be trying to achieve it, like they're actively trying to destroy it.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better myself. So that being said, thank you all for being on. We appreciate you. Hopefully you enjoyed today. And those who have Shabbat school, we'll see you at the top of the hour. And outside of that, we'll just see you tomorrow. Sunday is normally a longer session on the live session. So we'll be ready to get into the word. And then after that, on Sunday, it'll be family day for myself. So we'll then get back on track with seeing everybody tomorrow. We're asking for you guys to continue to lift each other up in prayer. Prayer for myself and my family, obviously, and for Elder Maya and what her heart's desires. Hopefully we're helping some on getting more organized and getting back on track with a lot of things that have to do with our organizational skills and demands in life and things of that nature. But I appreciate you all and thank you for your time today. We do not take it lightly that you have spent some time with us. I'm not sure if Sister Renee is on, but I'm gonna, if it's all right for me to can I make an executive decision real quick? So I know that Minister Jenny is actually not feeling that well, and we're supposed to have a meeting later today to continue. So I will send Sister Renee some items that were talked about to make sure at least that we have some stuff in the flow for you to look at. But we'll go ahead just for her because I know she's gonna try to push through, but she's really not supposed to be doing anything but resting right now. So I'll just send some stuff out, and maybe we can, if she's feeling better later this week, we can do a kind of catch up or something. But we can just maybe extend to Saturday. Does that make sense? Because it's just us four, but one out of the four who has a substantial part actually to play in this meeting is not really feeling well. So I don't know, but we can still make sure we need to converse with Renee or something like that. But I'll send some stuff out in the meantime, just to let you know. But other than that, we'll see you guys at the top of the hour. Thank you again for being on. We appreciate you. Continue to take care of yourselves. As always, it's been Pastor Kofi, and well, for this month, it's myself and my wife, Elder Maya, the Honorable Maya. You can always check her out on